Today was our final event as part of our EU Debate NI hub events. We were in Craigavon at the Seagoe Hotel, and the focus today was on agriculture, CAP, fisheries policy, environment. We had a full room again, we had lively discussion, we had a panel of experts. So we had a range of speakers speaking both as experts in terms of those particular areas and also articulating a Leave and Remain point of view in terms of the EU referendum debate.
We've had so many of these events already, but I think this one probably more than any other will show just how crucial this debate is and how interesting. And I mean, I in particular, I'm interested in hearing, because really the people represented here today are the coal face. I mean, you probably experience European policy and legislation more than any other group in society. So it's very interesting to have our panel here today. They're going to give a little upsum of what they think about the debate so far, where they're coming from, but we'll also have some interactive polling.
So any decision about the UK's future in the EU requires everyone, the RSPB included, to weigh up the evidence on both sides. In the run-up to the referendum, as both sides seek to clarify and present their respective visions for the future, the RSPB will strongly challenge both the in and the out campaigns to explain how their stance will help protect and enhance the environment.
A UK withdrawal from the EU would mean that the almost invisible border would become part of the EU's external frontier, and controls of both goods and people, I think, would be inevitable.
As regards trade across the border, which is very important to the agriculture sector, no doubt about that on both sides of the border, we have, predating the EU for many, many years, a common travel area, not just with the Irish Republic, but with Isle of Man, Channel Islands as well.
Europe has 751 MEPs representing 500 million people and 28 countries. The UK has 946 representing 65 million people, 650 in Westminster, 60 in Wales, 128 in Scotland and 108 here. Maybe we should think about that before we start throwing rocks at Europe's democratic process. Thank you.
In 2007, in a speech in Brussels, David Cameron said he does not believe it is appropriate for social and employment legislation to be dealt with at the European level, in specific reference to the social chapter. Just to remind you what's in there, some areas of current employment standards: the minimum paid annual leave, now 28 days including bank holidays, additional rights for agency and temporary workers and for part-time workers, current pregnancy and maternity leave rights, parental leave. The UK wanted up to 18 weeks. The EU said no, minimum 18 weeks.
It's not even business as usual in regard to the border. We will stay in the EU. It will be an external EU border. Our government will put itself right at the heart of the negotiations that will take place as a consequence. But we are going to be in the middle. There are going to be various forces at play. Anyone who thinks that trade negotiations are easy, they don't know exactly what's involved. Any of you who sat around a board and have been involved in negotiations know you can never be sure of the outcome.
The central theme of all political negotiation, and I've come to learn this since I've been in there, is power and who wields it. The truth of the matter is the EU is run by and for the benefit of German business and French farmers as well, but Spanish fishermen, but generally German business. In 2014, we had a trading deficit of 27 billion with Germany. They would be losing a huge amount if they were to put on any form of trade discrimination against the UK. The EU will already lose our 12 billion net per annum membership fee. A trade war with the EU's biggest market would be unthinkable. No one in this room, seriously, can think that the boards of Volkswagen, BMW, Bosch, Mercedes and the rest of them would say, "That's all right, Mr. Juncker, we'll stop selling cars and washing machines to those nasty Brits." That prospect's simply laughable.
I'm Tara Mills. I work for BBC Newsline and I was MC of today's event. I also MC'd the first of these events, and I think what was really interesting about today, obviously as an impartial observer and really with a neutral position just listening to the debate, what was interesting about today was the people here at the coalface of European legislation. So it's people in the agri-food industry, it's people who work in the fishing industry, people who work in farming. So it was interesting to hear what they think about European legislation and how it impacts in their business. But also we heard from the RSPB about the environment and about how European legislation impacts on our environment. I mean, we're all pretty much aware of that when it comes to our bins and targets, but just how would leaving Europe affect our wildlife and our habitat? So I think that was what really interested me today, was that there was something completely different that I personally hadn't even considered as part of this debate so far.